Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, world. This is the Rastafari International Ambassador, the man from Boswak, Jaboni, with his garment dipped in blood. Today, I'm going to present history as I find it. There's a saying that the world is divided into those that know and those that don't. As
Good afternoon, black family, black people. Sometimes it's hard to sometimes it's hard to communicate with the new technology of texting. And sometimes word sound is always still the better. But in my word sound, that a lot of these so-called discrepancies between Black Americans, well, some Black Americans, and Marcus Garvey during his time in America, it was like I was saying in that little short video. There was two dynamics going on because you had the point. You had the majority of Black Americans who felt that we already slaved for this country, or we slaved for this country. We built this country from nothing. I mean, you're talking about to the point where all the roads that these people drive on today, all these roads, all these highways, all these interstates, Interstate 85, 77, I-20, and all of those interstate roads those were all roads at one time. It was all there were trees and all that you had to be cut down. This is why they built the roads with the sun. So sometimes when you drive in certain places when you're in the South, you're blinded by the sun because they built these roads along these same trails, some of these same Indian trails and some of these same trails that black people built years ago when there wasn't electricity. So they built the roads facing the sun to capture the light. Because Marcus Garvey, Marcus Garvey's original intention was coming to America to join the army. He got disqualified for certain reasons, weight and things like that. But the majority of black people at that point, because you're dealing with a time right after Reconstruction, right after the Civil War, right after slavery was so-called ended, Reconstruction, this is the point when black people were thriving the most. When black people had their own towns. Black man and woman would marry with children, and it was everybody owned their own home. People, black people had their own. Everything you went to was black. Every store you went to, if you had to go to a butcher, if you had to go to a carpenter, if you had to go get your hair done, everybody you was dealing with was black. And there wasn't no option. You know what I'm saying? We understood as black people that the whole world around us hate us, and all we had was each other. So there was a different type of vibe. It was a whole different, totally different feeling. It's a totally different thing. Whereas on the reverse, when you're dealing with the people who, well, everybody black, all this whole black body, this whole black structure has different parts to it. So everybody got a part in this blackness. I mean, coming from the same conditions like that. But the thing about American black people is, black Americans or black or Africans in America, black people in America, is that we live amongst these people every day. People from South Africa would understand this too, but not even really, because South Africa, and they're still the majority down there, so they wouldn't really understand it. Black people in America are the minority. We are minority. We are the minority in a country full of other people, and these same other people are the ones who run the whole world, and we live amongst them. So everything we got to be taken to a different level. It's kind of hard to grasp, because like I said, you come from all majority black country versus living as a minority in an all white country. It's two sets of dynamics. There's two different things going on. Some people who live in black majority countries sometimes like they welcome something different, so it don't matter. Sometimes it happens like that. But the thing is that Marcus Garvey being in America, Marcus Garvey in America didn't have the followers of Marcus Garvey in America weren't Jamaicans or weren't people from. You had people from Jamaica and you had people from the Caribbean, but the followers of Marcus Garvey was everyday regular black people. You got some black people that were still into church. Some black people. It was just regular. Blackness is what united us at that time. It wasn't what you eat. It wasn't how long you grow your hair. It wasn't no praise to no other. It was the blackness is what united us. And the spark that, just imagine Marcus Garvey would have had nobody here to follow him, or if he would have had no black American to be able to listen to him and see what he's saying. Just imagine the thing the other way around. How would that? Because you had Marcus Garvey had way more black people followers here than he did throughout all the Caribbean. Even though you had Caribbean people who was Garveyites and all that things like that, but black Americans are the ones who funded the total entire Marcus Garvey movement. So this thing that there is no rift between black American and Caribbean people. And it's made up stuff, you know what I'm saying? But then we add on to it and pile on to it, and sometimes that's stuff that we add to the illusion. Nobody's greater or lesser. It wouldn't make no sense. The speaker has to have people to listen. But the thing the professor it was great hearing different perspectives of Rastafari, hearing from different different minds. That's the thing. Black people in America had colleges and universities, and you got a lot of. Martin Luther King graduated from a black college. The Caribbean and Africa and all them places could be doing the same things. What I'm saying, and I don't see how somebody from I can't see how somebody from Jamaica can teach a person from Africa who been Africa his whole entire existence. You know what I'm saying? A person who don't know nothing but how, if he look back at his great grandmother and his great grandfather, they all from Africa. I don't understand how a person from Jamaica thinks they have I think there's a need to go teach a person in Africa how to be an African. And that's what I mean. Schools and education is not no threat to nobody. I mean, but if you're gonna put your own kids through school and all that stuff anyway, I don't see why promoting education in school, why that shouldn't be a thing. Why it shouldn't be way more colleges in African countries and in the Caribbean. It should be way more colleges and things like that. I mean, if eventually people who have children eventually want their children to succeed in that kind of way like that, so I don't understand why promoting education is at the top stuff. And it ain't no rift between Black Americans or the Caribbean people. Ain't no rift between Black Americans. Ain't no rift between us. I mean, when you look at W.E. Du Bois, everybody had their own controversy. But I mean, you can't take away the fact that he actually lived. I'm gonna say he went and lived and died in Ghana. I mean, he actually went back to Ghana. He went back to Africa. I mean, people talk that stuff like that and make songs about it, but I'm saying he actually did it. It ain't because it ain't no one path to blackness. You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole thing really boils down to. It ain't no one path to blackness. Everybody who black is black, and anybody who make their existence out of their blackness to fit their reality, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? They don't. Black is black. That's why it don't take no movement. It don't take none of that. I mean, you understand where you are in the world. The world reminds you you're black every single day. It don't take anybody black supposed to be able to see that. It's not no mystery. You ain't got to. You ain't got to fast and pray and none of that stuff like that to be reminded you a nigga in this fucking world. And all that stuff is just other stuff. That's the stuff that make the individual cope. Greetings and all due respect, brothers, junior niggas. My full overstanding is I'm not coming from I'm coming from a different place. Maybe I'm coming from a place where creation, the heart, liver, lungs, capillaries, blood flowing cells was not created for a movement. My life don't have to turn into no movement. I don't have to turn my only existence on this planet into no movement. So I'm not a part of none of that fantasy stuff. I'm not a part of none of that stuff like that. But this is what I'm saying. But I'm saying, and I respect everybody who whatever they are. Right. But I'm saying my blackness. I stand on my blackness is what I'm trying to say. I stand on my same blackness that I've been standing on. I know myself personally. I can't go nowhere else and teach somebody else how to be black. I don't see how anyone else I don't see how anyone else sees how that is not that. What do you describe it as? How do you describe it? What do you call it then? What do you call it? People from a slave colony island somehow ate enough bananas and fruits and I can tell other people around the world how to be black, what they already was. Like, I don't get it. This is what I'm saying, but maybe I don't have to get it, is what I'm saying. So try to understand me from that kind of way. Maybe but no, I'm not into that stuff like that. I'm not into that stuff like that, because that stuff don't make no sense to me. That stuff don't make no sense to me. No disrespect, nothing like that. I'm saying they don't change nobody black. They don't change nobody black. They don't change nothing. The things, like I'm saying, I don't know, but if a person don't see whatever their situation is, what they're going through with their own eyes, where they live at, and needs somebody else to go tell them what, and then that same person who's living somewhere else going and telling somebody what the stuff is, when they go back to where they from, they haven't got nothing there at all. Ain't no foundation. I mean, but then that's man, come on, man. That's all I'm saying, though, bro. That was my only point. My only point was, I don't look at life as no life, biology, all that stuff. Wasn't made for no movement. It wasn't made for that stuff like that. Life, situations make things happen. I mean, circumstances make people react to those things a certain way. So it's not like anybody destined to be no. So when I talk about free mind, I talk about free mind. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same free mind and the same grace that you give them, people who give these white folks and everybody who don't look like black people, give me that same, respect and that same gratitude and that same space and all that stuff like that. Give me that same stuff that y'all give them all them other people like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to beg nobody apology or for a free mind and have free thought. I don't owe nobody no apology for that. When I ask them, how it's gonna, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. How somebody can go teach them, that's all I'm saying. That's all. One love, man. One perfect love. I understand it from things that, if we ourselves know at a certain point in time when we created a certain thing or a tool to use to get over colonialism and all these different things like that, well, we know in time that still is not going to, people can make their own story out of reality, but they don't make the stuff real, is what I'm saying. The sun is real and permanent every single day. Every human being in this earth experiences that, the sun. And if you didn't go through slavery, if your great-great-grandparents didn't go through slavery, if you wasn't discriminated against, the sun would still be the sun. So the thing is that people who foreparents were in slavery found a thing and made a thing to say, okay, Rastafari is this thing that's is going to get us away from this colonial way of thinking and this colonial way of living and all these different things like that. And in the midst of that, how did that change? How did that go from that into forgetting that you were actually people who were children of slaves living in countries that people would colonize that part got thrown away, and the part got taken up. Everybody's supposed to be a mini Jesus. Everybody's supposed to say eat good and love everybody, and just say, and as if somehow that's what black people were somehow missing love, is why we were put through slavery and abused and still being second-class citizens on this earth today. Is somehow the reason why, because we didn't have enough love, is the reason why the shit that happened to black people happened. Because this thing got turned into a thing where if out of black misery came Rastafari and came a movement, how did that turn into that you got to love the whole world and teach the whole world that how to eat and sing songs to them and all that? How did that turn to that? I mean, I mean, everybody, you got to write everybody, because I don't have to remind nobody. Everybody living their own life, man. People living their own life. I'm just, questioning things that somehow don't make sense, to me, and it's things that don't make sense to me like that. A thing that started out after slavery, I mean, that our great grandparents knew nothing about, and you know what I'm saying? So, and then try to. The people who went through the worst parts of the colonial system didn't get the secret, didn't get to share and seeing the king and all of the stuff like that. But the people who, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it takes a lot to people to believe in a certain thing when you look one way at a certain thing. You're not looking the other way at all. Those are the lucky ones. People who went through the worst. You know what I'm saying? Never had no savior. Never had any of that stuff like that. And people who went to the world wasn't trying to free the fucking world. They were trying to free themselves. And whoever was trying to free the world, whoever was trying to go teach the world, nah. If an African living in South Africa don't know how to be a South African or African, something wrong with him. If you think you got to go leave your country to teach another person how to be an African, I don't know what you call that, swole head or whatever. I don't know what you call it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I mean, that's just me. I don't understand it. How a person who ain't never lived in the great Canada. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. I really don't.
Greetings, my people. Answering directly to Brother Marpenzi, I've been trying to listen to you as much as I could. And what I understand is we are going to answer. The last thing you said just now was, how can someone go to South Africa to teach South Africans to be Africans? That's a good question. That's a good question. You see, the white people, when they went to conquer Africa, they went with brutal force, but they also used their intelligence. Some of them infiltrated the black people in the disguise, wearing like wolves in sheep clothing. They said that they were missionaries and all that type of well-wishers, scientists, explorer, whatever you call them. But what they went to do was simple. They went to study Africa. They went to study Africans. So they tried to blend and try to speak the African language, try to see how the African language live, and they interviewed them and they asked questions and they wrote reports, and all that information was sent to the HQ in Europe, right? So while some were using the guns with the force, there was another set that was there, blending with the people, humbling themselves, living like beggars, you know? And the Africans, who are very loving, received them and spoke to them and tell them, answered all the questions that they were asking. Yeah. So those who go to South Africa, they have the choice. Either they come to tell South Africans how to be Africans, or they listen to South Africans to tell them how to be Africans. The real thing is that there's a balance. South Africa has been affected by the colonial rulers. Jamaica also has been affected equally. The West has been affected. All the colonies, black people in the United States, in the Caribbean islands, and all over the world have been affected by the Western domination, which is the white supremacy. So when we go, we the diaspora, when we go to Africa, we're supposed to come with a balance, meaning we're going to assimilate what is relevant out of the African culture and share what we bring. But the thing is this, are the Africans willing to take what we bring in from the outside? That's the question. Are they willing? Remember, they were home, they stay home, we were outside, now we're returning. We cannot push them aside and tell them, you're not Africans. Yeah. But we'll have to find a balance. You understand? Yeah, because all the struggles are good schools where we can learn how to live under this domination until good can conquer the evil. Because right now, good is under evil. The world is upside down. We're walking on our head. So until such time, we will have to be humble when we go to Africa and try to live as Africans while giving them whatever they want to know about outside. But they have to want it. We cannot force it down on them. If they want to take Rasta and turn it into their own thing, we cannot say no. No, they are in their own countries. They can do whatever they want with Rasta. Yeah. If we don't like it, it's like being on a forum or a platform. If we don't like what's going on, all we have to do is to take ourselves away and go somewhere else. So Africa also is like that. The land itself is like that. You're not supposed to go there to teach people what they don't want to hear. No, you teach them what they're asking for. You give them what they're asking for. And you go take what you went for. Give thanks and praise to the Most High Jah, Rastafari.
I am elated and I am filled with joy. And to say I am proud is an understatement. Yes, I am filled with joy of who the Rastafari International Ambassador is. As I have said, I am Rastaman, come from under the rock. And I say to all that hear I voice, that this man speak with the voice of Jah, without any form of apology. For this is one of the qualities that all Rastas must have in order to be a part of the new heaven and the new earth. They must become one and the same with the new faculty of thinking. This is one of the qualities that is mandatory. Complete, thorough, and utter self-analysis and critical assessment of self and correction, adjustment, or whatever formation we want to express it in. But it is always, we are constantly in the present time of now. We do not live in the past, nor do we live in the future. The new faculty of thinking is an ultra liberty within the present time jurisdiction. Some may call it living in the twinkling of an eye. Some may call it living in the moment of time. So job on me. Man, I say the master teacher, man, you know, who Rasta is. Because I come and know who Rastafari is. But now each Rasta now must know Rasta. And you will not know Rasta by Rastafari. Because Rastafari is known. Rastafari is a part of the historical record of humanity. From Kwame Nkrumah, coming through from Marcus Garvey, coming through to Rastafari, found worthy to sit upon the throne. Of the root and the loin of Menelik and Makeda, the tradition, Cabra Nagas, the record of time. So we know who Rastafari is, because Rastafari proved Rastafari self already. We can read of Rastafari. We can read of Rastafari from generation to generation. Rasta is the development of the new people being tailor-made and put together by Jah Almighty in order to be a new people, never been before, to coincide with the new heaven and the new earth that has already been spoken of. So Jaboni, Rastafari, Jaboni, Rastaman. I'm going to give thanks that I have found the eye. May the almighty grace of the Almighty God, Almighty Creator, earth, sea, and sky, earth, and breath, with, and the fullness of all things continue to strengthen, protect, and guide the eye. So Rasta arise, and give praise and thanks unto Jah, in the mighty and holy name and the worthy name of Rastafari. Give thanks, my brethren. Much love, perfect love, guidance and protection always and forever. More. More. We are more, and we must be more. We must be more and more each and every day. Rasta, live. Yes, again, my brother, Rasta man, I will only speak when Jah give our instructions to speak. So this broadcast that you made called The Legacy of W.E.B. Du Bois, 2D, is a very monumental piece that I have presented, because I go and use the word propaganda. Cannot no proper about it. Because the propaganda where them put out when it concerns the black nation is always for a specific purpose. Because those imperialists, colonialists, capitalists, and all of the other kind of is them, with them is out, because them a snake serpent. It's designed to keep us discombobulated and ununified in an harmonious manner. The information, the propaganda where them put out is to create confusion amongst our people and how we look at one another, and to also destabilize the harmony and the unity that otherwise would be the strength not only of the black nation, but of all nations will progress righteously. So this broadcast, Jaboni, is so needed because many out there have always only heard how W.E.B. Du Bois was some kind of rivalry to Marcus Garvey, the honorable, most distinguished Marcus Garvey, as W.E.B. Du Bois himself is honorable and very distinguished. But you never hear the truth about the man them where come to unify the people and strengthen the nation, the black nation, and the nations of the world. So I say again, my brother, I am so delighted. That's why I had to come back and drop an next little vibration, Because I have only heard when, that he was against Marcus' teachings, and in his end days, he basically saw the light of Marcus' teachings and, left America and went into Ghana, Africa, but they never speak of anything else. You don't really hear it. You'd have to be a scholar, one who's really digging deep and, is into that type of thing. But as I said, I have never read certain things, you see. And it's the same for I, as a Rasta man. I read of him, but just what is in the public dominant society. I was never a man who could dig deep in the books and carry on, because I'm too involved with Jah, I under the rock. I listen to the master teach I man and show I man the way. Anytime a man study things out of books and certain things like that, you're altering basically the rawness of your consciousness. It's like a man who listens to music, him up on the radio, and play it, them call it cover tune. And play it, that's how he learn music and that's how he play music. As opposed to a man who listen to no music and just learn music from the instructions of the vibrations and the master. That's that very faint and silent voice within each and every one of us can teach us anything, from music to surgery to any form of science and engineering and all of that. And this is how our ancestors, our ancient of eons of ancestors learned the knowledges that they learned. They didn't learn it from books. They learned it from the very faint voice of the master within them, within their soul. And that's how Rasta come now. We learn from the same voice that taught our ancient of eons of ancestors, the most ancient, where timelessness was the time, and there were no time. We were there then, when there were no time. And that's where Rasta come from. So give thanks again. Positive vibes, Rasta.
Greetings. In the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, the substance of I tradition and existence, you know. Haile I, King Haile Selassie I. And I give thanks and praises, man, for overstanding, humbleness, and less arrogant, you know. You know, take a deep breath and sober ourselves. You know, I want to make a clarification and something that I did, what I was accused of changing the agenda of what the July 2nd and 2023 for the movements of the removing of the administration that was not functioning to benefit all four being center that leave out of 5, 1 close. So we leave 4. On the agenda that I did have to reason about on July the 2nd, the first I think it was the first Sunday in 2023, a notice board went up and I was asking for the removing of all the administrators who were not doing the job that they're supposed to do to benefit the collective, both here, nationally in Jamaica, and internationally, globally, so I and I could speak in one voice. Wherever the Rastafari gather, or the Nyabingi family, I and I is Rastafari, all of us. So wherever I and I gather, I and I would speak in one voice and one unity. And because in every community, you have different issues, you know, terrains and, and social amenities and whatever, you know, in every community. See, we have one Bingi center in Ochoreras, Great Pond, run by Profile. And I have another Bingi center in Portland by Mama Fire. And I have another Bingi center in St. Elizabeth, Malvern, run by Russ Earthquake. And before Nyabingi Center needed administration because what was happening that because Caspar's closed, the administrator that was administrating there at Caspar seems like they want to come to P4 and administrate there, which I was saying that P4 always have its own administration. speaking in one voice and welcome everyone. When the coronation came, everyone come and participate. But the day-to-day activities of Pit 4 Nyabinghi Center, you always have a secretary, a treasurer, and a PRO, and a chairperson there, and treasurers and deputies and all that, and because it was the first Bingi Center, one of the first that centralized and organized Rastafari and Bingi within Jamaica, and every information was coming at Pit 4. But anyway, what I'm trying to say here is I want to clear up why did I stick to the 4 Bingi Center to unite as one, because the misinformation and also they wasn't getting any information from those who was in the administrative position. So what I was trying to explain at the meeting in July the 2nd, 2023 was this. One, if all 4 Bingi Center have their own chairperson in their community and their own treasurer and their own secretary, speaking in one voice, that all 4 speaking at the same one voice, then one would choose a representation from each community to fulfill what the creed says. The infant care for the sick nourish and the naked clothes, etc., etc., etc. So what I was saying, because the administrator, them, never doing that statistic. That stat was not there. So how many baby born this morning? So let Ras Jukai ask the question. Aya Congo. Since the I is questioning that I did trying to change the idea, and I was emphasizing that I must stick to removing these ones from what I call bad. What I was trying to do is use intelligent diplomacy, my brother. What I was saying, it would be easier if every Bingi Center in each community around the island take a stat. How many Asians is in St. Elizabeth? Need care. How many infant born there need care? How many naked there need clothing? You see, etc. Same for Great Pond. Same for Mama Fire in Portland. So St. James now, where the Bingi Center is in Montego Bay here, Pit 4. I think what I was trying to explain, and it seemed like I wanted just to overlook the reality of what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say, my brethren, is this, and my Rastafari family globally, is that each community should take a stat on how many Asians live in St. James, in Montego Bay, Pit 4, in the surrounding community, and how many ancient is in Portland, Ocho Rios, Great Pond, your profile is, and by Malvern where earthquake is. So each community could take a stat of their community, and it would be an easy way to get all those information and call one general meeting, and all 4 Bingi Center come at the meeting with the statistics, what I need for the infant care for, the age protected, the sick nourished, and the naked clothes. And that was the argument that I was trying to bring across, that it will be easier. It is not to divide us, like each one have a separate agenda, no. What I was trying to say is, it will be easy for every Nyabinghi Center in each community do their own due diligence within the community to find out how many infant was born, are born, and how many naked need to be clothed there, or sick nourished, or whatever. That's all I was trying to say, That did not stop us to move those ones if they're not doing their job. But I never want to use an arrogance as if I go there with violence. That was the first meeting from a notice board that kept at Pitford Nyabingi Center. And I'm sure Ras Aya Congo that I never expect that first meeting that I keep to reason about the present situation or all these issues and the allegations what's going on around my brother. I'm trying to stay calm, and stay sober. Because arrogance don't work within divinity, man. It's patience and time, man. You see, the universe, my brother, when the rain fall, it fall upon the good and the bad. When the sun shine, it shine on the good and the bad. You see, and look how many things going on all over the world. Even in Africa, that I speaking about repatriation too. There's a lot of war going on there. There's a lot of Africans against Africans. It's not right. But my agenda is to unify all Africans by village, by town, state, province, and every corner and crevice. Each one should have a reason within their community of what the trouble or what causing the disunity or the disorganizing of the Rastafari community or even the Africans. You see, that's what I was trying to say, and I want to keep on saying, Jukai, stick to the what we came here for. We came here to get rid of all these bad ones. How are you going to do that? Just go there and tell them to leave, whoa, and then tomorrow morning is only Jukai alone stand up there to administrate and no one straighten it? No, that's not what it's for. No, and that is not my approach. My approach is to edify each community of their responsibility, what they're supposed to take to make this agenda or this work. You see? And that's what I was trying to say here. Don't make it look as if I was there changing. I don't change. You see, I'm still here. I'm still there doing what I'm supposed to do. And I make great I. It's not I, it's I. Those willing ones who came and fight the backer of good over evil. We're still making progress. And there's a lot more work to do. And I'm sure, every day we discover new things on the earth. So all the things that we discover, they did not came in one, or came in one day. No. The sunrise and the sunset, and the moon and the stars, and then the morning rise and the sunrise again, give us will to fight another day or continue to work, So we can't just work as if like everything gonna done in one day. Even on a farm, you plow you chop the bush down. You see? After you chop the bush down, you put the bush up or you burn it, or you want to go the organic way, you put it aside and make mulch out of it, and you start to plow the land and you plant the seed. When you plant the seed grow. It takes time. It don't grow overnight. You know what I mean? So you see, what I'm trying to say here, my brother and my family, is it wasn't a change of the agenda or stick to the agenda. No, I stick to the agenda, but I was just only mentioning an easy part to ease up some of the work on the new administration that I was trying to put together, which I is still in the process of doing it. And we achieve a lot. You see, is that every community, as I said, every community of the 4 Bingi Center that live in Jamaica at this time, it was 5. Scotts Pass was number 5. Great Pond, number 4. Portland at Mama Fire, number 3. Earthquake in St. Elizabeth, it's number 2. And Pitford Nyabingi Center is 1. It's number 1, okay? So what I was trying to say is that if each Bingi Center in each community should go and take a stat of all the issues around what the guideline and the creed says, then it would be easy for the centralization to take place much easier. Ras Aya Congo and the Rastafari community. So I don't like arrogancy, or I don't like, I don't like the brute force thing. I want to like to edify. I have patience and tolerance to reason out things, so one could learn why it is relevant and necessary to happen this kind of way. But if you go there in violence, boom, boom, knock them over and kick them out and look more and create, without edifying the audience what you're doing, then this look like it's like a war. I mean, physical war. I'm not, when that is necessary, it will, I am not into that. What I am into is to edify the Nyabingi family, the wider community, of the issues that face us and an easy way out. Yeah, the art of war. I am sure Muta Baruka used all them terms there, the art of war. Why did he choose to use the art of war? The art of war doesn't mean you have to take a gun or a spear or a bomb or a nuclear. No. The art of war can be diplomatical, psychological too, It can be through communication and reasoning, and the voice of the people is the voice of Rastafari. It's just like when I get it together, we're stronger and we reason. And if 10,000 people shout one time, yeah, Rastafari, that's thundering, lightning, earthquake, man, a strong voice that. But if one person just say, yeah, it's effective, But just imagine if all of us together reason as one, collectively, with the same aim and objective. That is why I did speak about Pit 4. And to seal up what I'm trying to say here is that whatever happened at Scott's Pass or any other Bingy center around the world or anywhere, I don't want that to happen at Pit 4. I don't want no one to leave from their community, come to my community, mess up my community, and then it look like all Bingy house is the same or all community is the same. No, I'm not into that. I am here to set a unity for the Rastafari community globally, wherever I reside in Azania, Togo, Ghana, Nigeria, whatever, Uganda, Ethiopia, Mali, Kuwait, Zimbabwe. It doesn't matter where all the African countries or all the Caribbean islands, wherever Rastafari go, I speak in one voice. And that's what I was trying to say at the reasoning that I by community, spread the message of one aim, one destiny, one voice, all for one and all, one for all. So if every community organize and take a stock of what the issues is in their community with the brethren and the sisters down, then when I gather, then it will be easy. Instead of one administration, the general administration have to go around the whole world. No, that's a lot of work. But if we unite by community, and we do the same thing with one voice and set aim and objective, then the workload becomes easy. And that's what I was trying to explain at that July 2nd meeting at 2023 when I said, let's unite Pit 4 and get our administration together so we can administrate at Pit 4 without someone tried to push that administration aside and bring their administration there because what happened in their community. So that is where the reasoning, the first topic on the agenda. And when I was saying, we want to talk about getting rid of them, Aya Congo, and I was saying, fire. And I was reasoning, and I was humble about it. I know, I still humble, you see. And yesterday I learned, and I can get erratic, boisterous, but No, I don't want to go down that road. I want to use the diplomatical role that Haile Selassie is a diplomat, you know? Diplomatically. Yeah, and reason, so we can reason together as brothers and sisters and reason about our difference instead of war and fight and hurt each other. Let's reason. Reason it out. Restorative justice. That's what it meant, you know. Restorative justice, meaning we come together and reason. It doesn't matter how long it takes for us to reason out things so we don't war and kill each other. That's the best route. And that's the route I'm taking. And no one, I don't care who it is, no one can change my opinion about that. That's my prerogative. You know, that's me. 7 brother, 7 different mind. I choose tolerance and patience to reason with my family so they can be edified and all of us can have one understanding. Yes. You know something? If the wider Rastafari community should attend to all reasoning, or come to the reason and speak their mind, just like how they speak it on all these platforms that I'm listening to, and tell these ones who's now slowly moving away, because them see that the family get fed up. It didn't take 10,000 to do it, you know, but at least 10,000 will make it happen faster. But it's happening. And we give thanks for all what I already achieved. And we give thanks for what to come. And we give thanks for the patience and the tolerance. What I need now is help on the ground. I need help on the ground, boots on the ground. And we don't want us to come talk. We want us one-time talk, you're gone, you know, come forward. We want one with tolerance and commitment. That's what we need now. I need commitment now. And that is the only way this is going to work, my brothers and sisters. Hey, Congo, you know something? I am not here competing with no one, you know. I don't like competition. You see? You see? What I'm doing here is not competing against anyone here. And I'm doing my Father's will. And the best way I know and the best way I think is work for Ras Jokai. To reason with my brothers and sisters, even when I feel, you know, yeah, I feel a way that, you know, what, you know something? I take a deep breath and choose not to get arrogant. I reason with them with tolerance and let them know my position. Like one, the Nyabingi order is a sacred order. It means death to black and white, don't press our death to Europeans on the first. And one had to it. And such power, death to the enemies, you see? And the liberating spirit of the Nyabingi order. And what it stands for. Repatriation, reparation, liberation, and black solidarity. Yeah. And this should not be in any Babylon book right down as a registration. And I know alligator stamp of fire. And if I want to think that to unite all the Bingi Center in the world, globally, to speak in one voice, is wasting your time, then don't be a part of it. No, because, you see, my aim and objective, or I aim and objective, is to unify all the Bingi Center and all Rastafari family. Whether you're Bobo, Nyabingi, 12 tribes, we are all one Rastafari, serving His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. And I must speak in one voice and love each other because we are brothers and sisters. And I don't want to preach violence or arrogance to my brothers and sisters. I want to speak love, unity, and defending the faith within righteousness and divinity. That's what I am all about, Aya Congo. And the only reason why I'm saying this right now, I want the eye to understand who's Jikai. You are you, and I am I. You see, we are brothers, but we don't think alike most of the time. See, and the set goal is what I want to achieve. I have no doubt that I want to achieve it too. But it's just the way, and the route and the farm, and what you take, and the route that I take, and the formula that you take, and the formula that I take, my brother. I think that if I should reason and unify all Rastafari Bingi centers or tabernacles around the world to speak as with one voice, same aim and the same objective and the said thing, but I is dealing with. Your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, you reach your pot of gold. My pot of gold is my wish, my brother, and my global family is all of us speaking one voice. Wherever I reside under the sun, globally, over land and sea, one aim, one destiny, one Rastafari, one teaching, all for one and one for all. I hope I explain myself. If there's anything more I want to understand why I choose to say it in this voice note, to say it. I try to explain some more. A lot more to say. Give thanks for this day, man. Rastafari is the Almighty and the ruler of all things. Standing on the world stage for international morality and justice, collective security for all Africans wherever they may reside. Al-Kabalan is our home. Kadamawi is the ruler and the teacher. Kadamawi is our leader. I don't want to lead no one. No one can lead I, but Haile Selassie I the first. I want to take orders from His Imperial Majesty, man. No other one. Haile I. King Haile Selassie I.
Council. Greetings, Asian Council. This is I, Jabone. And I must have a say on what I have been listening to. Yes, Rasti Guy, my brethren. I listen and hear you for the past 2 hours, crying and reaching out to the cat, Aya Congo. I say the cat, Aya Congo, because it is clear that Aya Congo now work for Rastafari to make anything go forward. Here it is, you reach out. We hear you around 6 times. I tell him, say, everything set the man, them stand down. And it's for now, young lions come in, come support the thing, to make the thing work. Here it is, they identify that all the people them that had put the thing in disarray had stepped down for different reasons. I am hearing this because everything is spelled out. And the only thing that Aya Congo could have said now is see you later, alligator. Now, Juna Digos dismissed 2 more posts. Why this cat think he's so important? No, he have a lot of talk. Yeah? And his ego is where it got before him put himself in front of himself. Because here it is, him set up a Haitian tribunal. And when it reached to a level where it looked like it going to work, him just run with everybody where would I make it work? And here it is again, because in the Haitian the tribunal thing, I man him speak highly after I and enough more the virgin them, which is young Vanguard. But now the I come, the guy, and I reach out to him. Me hear it more than 5 times, and the man they find it necessary to engage. Then I show him say all we did was an obstacle. It's no more an obstacle. The I show him say the ancient them even stand up for sure say, why we did do things wrong. Because I hear it, brother. I hear it. The reason why I'm on there and I listen. I'm on now take off not to go publish because right now it's Rasta business. So Rasta business must be Rasta business. So I just stay and listen, but I have to open my mouth because of the fact that you can't, how much you ever reach out to a man where him not have the interest with him attack and I, you know. Remember say I him talk and set up the tribunal council, you know. And all I did do is just open it in terms of inviting ones and ones we could have come straight and help. And him just make him ego go in front of himself and run away and disrespect everybody. Right? For whatever reason. And here it is him doing the same thing again. Yeah, that's what he's doing because here is it now. Him can't put him personal feeling aside. Him have personal feelings with Buki. Him have personal feelings with June Amigos. Him can't have no personal feelings with Ijabone because Ijabone pass. When no guy can't in no personal feelings with that. No guy can't in no personal feelings with that. I dare serve Rastafari. That idea do. Anyone, if you notice from the day one when I deal with the one them, I know I'm impartial. Rastafari I stand for. That means whether a man a Bob or 12 tribe or whatever from a Rasta, my brother. But it not seems that Aya Congo reach them level there. I feel him ego. Him want lead and I with and it now go work because from a personality thing, it all clash with other people. So you guys, I don't think you can reach out anymore to him because I hear more than one time and all him could have show say right now is what him said us now. So stand firm, lion. Ambassador Jaboni. And just want to straighten out a few vibrations. Now, I already explained when I first start my broadcast that I am a South African citizen. After participating in the free up of Azana, I, Gabri, Wilde Selassie, and others went to Anayabingi in Orange Free State. And at that time, that's when I recognized that there was a large number of Rasta, thousands of Rasta, was at that Bingi. At the time, I have no idea. I just know they were Rasta. As a matter of fact, it was I who established that there was over 3 million Rasta in South Africa. One of the problems that I noticed is that Rasta, because of the no locks, a lot of Rastaman don't want to give me my right standing. But you see, certain things cannot be taken away from individuals. Truth is truth. So let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in their sight. Sure. Now, speaking about South Africa and Nyabingi, at the time when I went to the Brown Nation in Orange Free State. I thought, as original Rasta, that it was an Ayabingi gathering because it was so much Rasta. When I went to the Bingi, I explained that I was devastated as to what was being practiced. And I reasoned with the head of the soccer party. And at that time, we agreed that we need to bring in some elder in order to make proper guidance of the trading. Thereafter, I explained that I left Azana and stopped in London before going to Jamaica to bring forward I'm old man, Mortimer Planner. But by the time I reached Jamaica already made a move and Planner and make him head of the faculty at the university. Muta Baruka have knowledge of this. Jalani have knowledge of this. Rasbega have knowledge of this. I'm just telling you these things. You know, it don't matter to I whether you believe it or not. The problem is that after citing what took place, it was I who introduced Azana in great details to Rastafari Universal Zion elders and work with these elders in order to bring both bongo water and bongo time to South Africa. I did not take any picture of bongo time because I did not take any picture, I did not take any picture with bongo water at the time because there was no need for that. But bongo time was an elder that time and I've grown with. And many occasions, I have grown with bongo time in Jamaica at Scotch Part. I have grown with bongo time in Jamaica at Miguel down at Church Street. So I have always have a good vibes with bongo time. I have always have a good vibe with bongo time children. Skibu Lighting is one of my youth brethren when he was here in London. So I have always, Skibu Lighting was here when bongo time was here. And Skibu Lighting know that bongo time and I had a great connection. Because, as you know, certain elders only talk in the business, grown with people that them know, even though them reason everybody and them freestyle, them have a different way where them groans with people, where them groans with, where them know now lead them astray and know have them best interest at art. I know I had bongo time best interest at art at many levels. So it was, as you can see, is in my gates not. Bongo time is an at Barwada farm. At the time, my gates was at HQ. And I think the Virgin said a bongo time is, I think his name is Ras Rowan, but he's from South Africa. So he will see this picture and can identify himself. That sister is Sister Makeda, and she's here in London. She used to live in Azana with us. So sometimes it does the vibration to establish certain things. That's why I asked Juna Negos just now to ask the brethren that is making the decoration if he know Ras Gabri. Because who don't know Ras Gabri, then no. Ras Bongani is from Soweto, and he's my brethren too, because I have been to Ras Bongani yard on more than several occasions, and Ras Bongani used to link I and I when I and I was based in the Ponte City. Also, there's a next Ras named General that used to function amongst I and was the link between South Africa and I. Just to give an update, because sometimes, people like to see these type of documentaries to know, say, Jabon is not just a man who attack and he's not an ordinary bald man, this, So bless up and make everything be one perfect, love. There's the evidence that when I was in South Africa, there was no, I didn't know if they were Nyabingi or whatever. I just know they were Rasta.
I do give thanks. This voice note that was sent, or rather that was responded to by the I in regards to, certain issues that was raised. And, suggestion is being made, read a way forward. But the reality, to be really straight to the point, this matter has already been dealt with by the EDAMAC, Rastafari Millennium Council, right? The fundamental thing is the UNDRIP, United Nations Declaration for Rights for Indigenous People, is a United Nations declaration. So the first primary move that any group that is being violated, indigenous group that is being violated, is to address the United Nations where that is concerned, because it is a fundamental human right, right? So that's the first prime step that needs to be done. The United Nations has to be informed of what the state is doing in violating your indigenous rights. First step. The council has done that, right? Without any apology. And in that report to the SERDs, which is your first stage, because the SERDs is representing your identity. It deals with reparation. It deals with the Durban Declaration for Program of Action, which is your redress for the transatlantic slave trade. So it deals with your fundamental self-determination and who you are as a person, human being. That is SERDs, the first treaty body, right? So that is where I submit. So any petition that is going to go forward, because we did this, because based on the mandate that was signed on from the council in 2007 as an indigenous culture NGO, right? So naturally, in declaring this to the United Nations October 2022, we also state the position of where our indigenous right descriptor is located. Because I, sovereign people, is attached to the Ethiopian Revised Constitution of 1955 as royal sons and daughters of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Because everyone who call themselves Rastafari takes on the image and the personality and declaring themselves as sons and daughters of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Anyone who takes on this title Rastafari as a name and don't revere the emperor and declare his divine status as how it is written within the Constitution is not dealing with the true justice and the rights of a people who the emperor reclaimed and then came forward in 1966 and did the same in front of Parliament. There is no Rastafari identity, sovereignty outside of being Ethiopian. And that's the fundamental truth of the matter, based on I pledge. Prince and princesses shall tread out of every slave ground which them call Egypt. We Ethiopians shall stretch forth our hands and heart to the Almighty Jah Rastafari. That is the pledge, the vow. Yeah, I seen. So I sovereignty, returning everyone to them vine and fig tree. That is your sovereign rights. It's lodged already in the Ethiopian revised constitution of 1955. You cannot have two sovereign space. That is not possible. You cannot claim annex land as a sovereign space and then declare yourself Ethiopians at the same time. If you're an Ethiopian, you have only one sovereign space to reclaim. And that is who the emperor and how the emperor has already done that. Right? And tell Marcus Garvey that when he was Rastafari, crown prince and regent to the throne in 1922, tell the people them to come home. This is where them race originated, and it's only here them can reach them highest planes of usefulness and honor. So from the time he was crown prince and regent to the throne, that was the order given and the decree made. So when he rise to the power of emperor, he grafted everything within the constitution of revised constitution of 1955. So the move has already been made by the council, declaring the rights and the violation of our indigenous rights. So any petition that is going to rally concerning Rastafari has to support what is already done and based on what was already mandated by Rastafari informing the council in 2007 as an indigenous community. And hence the government had to declare when she, Minister Green, was responding, there are two indigenous identified groups located in Jamaica, indigenous culture they describe, the Maroons and Rastafari. So this is the reality. It is nothing, it's not a reinvention of the wheel, because the action was already done in writing the alternative report to the SIRS and declaring where I sovereign identity is located as royal sons and daughters of Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, Ethiopians, prince and princesses Shajado. That is the foundation. So when we declare these things, we understand the position where Rastafari are to be supporting, right? Because where we reach as the council is to deal with the legal administration of what needs to follow. Because once you submit something to United Nations, it is a legal binding document already, and you already have the evidence to the case that you had submitted. So all of this work is already done and sealed up within the United Nations report. What is necessary now is the legal format and how it shall be pursued. And one avenue that is being tipped to follow up all these documents is to take the matter within the Constitutional Court. But you need lawyers to deal with that, and that is where I there. Any petition that's supposed to be written to support has to support what is before the United Nations, because that is where you have to lodge your complaint against a state, and it has already been done. No reinvention of the wheel here. Because what is being done now, as how you rightfully say, is some individuals who's taken away the rights of the community, indigenous, and handing it back to the government, to let the government take control of that. And we have the evidence of that also. So that this is my first response, based on even what I'm on submit, but just to clarify things going forward. It is already done by the council to give thanks.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm reading the thing now. Yeah, I agree with that. That's what my whole thing was saying is that if you don't understand that you're black, if you live in Africa, if you live in Jamaica, if you live in America, if you live in the Caribbean, if you live in anywhere on the planet right now as a black person, if you don't understand that, I mean, that is what I'm saying. My thing is that it don't. I can't go to Africa and teach an African how to be an American. I mean, I'm a black. All of us are African. We are black people living in the West the same way already, and then we all are dealing with the same common threat, the same person, the same common enemy, the same. So the thing, the saying that like I don't see how a person from somewhere else would go, because all that. What I'm saying is that that's not. Those things are only some things that people use for where they lived at in their region. That don't mean that stuff is going to work and be a thing somewhere else. And they don't take none of that. So all what I'm saying, and I keep saying that it don't take. If you're black in the world and don't understand that right now, if you don't understand that, if you don't understand that the whole world, yeah, this is what I'm saying. A black person who under the same system as another black person can't teach nobody. I mean, how you gonna tell them? I mean, because the thing is that the places that people are leaving from are not reflecting. If you're going to go leave from a country that you're born and raised in and tell and say that this is the thing right here, we're going to do this over here, and this thing, the countries that you live in is supposed to have that stuff first. I mean, that's supposed to be a thing where you're supposed to have, you can't, if the country where you live in is not doing the stuff that you're taking somewhere else, how do you know that stuff works? Is what I'm trying to say. I mean, how do you know that thing? How is it proven then yet? If it ain't proven in your own place where you live at, how do you know it works? Then you leave the country you go where you're from. It's not an emotional question. It's a reality question. I mean, numbers. I mean, yeah. Cause the thing is that if Rastafari in Jamaica, if Rastafari ain't running Jamaica, how can Rastafari take that somewhere else and be in Africa and I don't know, man. That's people's own personal stuff, man. But I just don't get that part like that. Because the people in Africa want the same thing that the people anybody else want. Everybody wants the same thing. People want land, want to be able to have a house and have somebody. Some want to be able to plant their foods. Some want a house and land and want to be able to raise their kids. People want that stuff around the world, no matter where you live at. People want that same stuff around the world, no matter where you live at. And if every black person in the Western world right now was to just up and leave the West and go to Africa right now and somehow think that we wouldn't be displacing the Africans in Africa. Like we would, I'm saying somehow to think that we as black Africans in the West, somehow we all would just go back to Africa and somehow we wouldn't be upset in the ecosystem. We wouldn't be upset. None of that. There won't be no fight over no land, all of those things like that. But everybody else around the world enjoy Africa, go to Africa, visit Africa, and do the same. But I mean, I don't get it. I mean, that's what I don't get. That's what I say. I don't see how. Yeah. That stuff is not that easy like that, man. That stuff was for a few dreamers. For a few dreamers who think that that's all that they have to do is go back to Africa and everything is fine. That's not reality. This is why you can't make a thing on a thing where the reality of certain things only makes sense in certain parts of the world. It don't make sense on a whole larger scale, with a whole entire world. I mean, I don't understand why an African. This is me personally. I'm saying I don't understand why an African would want to be a Rasta. I don't understand that stuff like that. And that's just my personal thing. A person who born and raised in Africa, who never left Africa, I don't understand how what makes them want to be a Rasta. And this is what I'm trying to figure out. Some of this stuff don't make no sense. If Rasta was born out of a Black Power movement from the results and from the reaction to slavery and colonialism in the West, and you have to make it understand, right? In the West, that's what I mean. In the West, from everything, from marijuana or ganja, but being from Indians who relocated in Jamaica and the Caribbean, to the Dreads, also Indian. So all those things only make sense at a certain place in certain places in the world. And that kind of thing ain't the thing that I don't understand how that made. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. The method of resistance is a thing that it's like it can't be duplicated all around the world like that. Because I mean, a Black Power movement now have white people saying that they're Rastas. So that's what I'm saying. So this is where some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. A white person or a Chinese, or I mean, is a Rasta. So I mean, like he's like a honorary African or some type of shit. I don't get that. I mean, yeah. This is like I said, when I go, back to the regular basics. It don't take a lot of this stuff. It don't take none of that stuff for me to understand I'm a black nigga in America. I'm a black nigga in the world. I understand that. I don't owe white people no fucking sacrifice. I don't owe them nothing. I don't owe no world. I don't owe no people shit. Black or white. I definitely don't owe no other race or people no explanation of my life and why I live. And I don't owe them motherfuckers. I don't owe them nothing. I don't owe white folks or no folks no fucking explanation for humanity. I don't owe them nothing. That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm saying. I don't have to. I don't owe them nothing. I don't look at them. I'm not in the world to please nobody or be in a righteous shit to say that I'm humble for something. None of that shit. None of that stuff. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that some people understand that. I don't think some people understand that. I don't. You know what I'm saying? The world has never let me forget I'm a black nigga in the world. I'm a black nigga in the world. As simple as that. I ain't no fucking savior. I'm not trying to be no righteous person. None of that stuff. Like I'm a regular human motherfucking being. I'm a human black motherfucker in the world. I mean, every action has a fucking reaction. It's as simple as that. Ain't no steady goddamn flow. Ain't no fucking ocean on this goddamn planet flat and uneven. It ain't moving without waves and shit like that. So the same way is life. I don't know certain. I said it before. The same way. I have the same free mind as the same free mind as Christopher Columbus, as a one of Bartholomew Diaz Gasso. All of them. It's the same human being free mind. I have the same human being free mind. The things that some people do, I choose not to do. It's basically what it is. It's simple as that. Ain't no speciality, and nobody even got called, and nobody no chosen. None of that retarded shit. Any person who on this planet right now who will live alive was chosen already. You fucking here. Ain't no other inner nothing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, like I'm trying to say, I'm taking it back to the fucking regular basic. It don't take all these other different things to understand what I'm saying, especially for no black person in the world. For a black person in the world, it don't take none of this stuff to understand that you're black. Not for Lisa, not for me. One black perfect love.
Grand Rising, I have been Nation Council. Glory to the word, glory to the sound, glory to the power of His Imperial Majesty. Give thanks again, every another rising, blessed day to each and every one. Send that love and that greetings as we are here on the mission, our motto. We always walk with, the guidance, our the mission is in the context of teachers. We must always remember that. Anywhere we are is to create an educational climate. And this climate of education is to facilitate, develop the maximum potential of all African blood, woman abroad, Rastafari. This including imparting knowledge, teaching how to think and how to make informed decisions and how to solve problems. They're providing practical experience, developing creativity, self-respect, and a basic social skill. And I are on the mission, fostering discipline, self-worth, morality, a cooperative high risks, and a desirable attitude to work together as one people. And I are also employing the highest level of teacher professionalism. We know as the bloodline through the navigation order coming in from that time, from back a while till now, that we have the ability plus the determination, equally achievement of repatriation. So here we are today, and we give thanks to all the ones them who are here in remembrance of our ancestors and the works that they have laid on for and I. We give thanks to the brethren them with the buffalo door who maintain that iris every year. One perfect love all the time. And I know that we are here, we are not just here because we are here. We are here where our forefathers and our father were standing. And the thing that they think about is that it's ours today to think about. I and I, heart and mind and soul, is to the commanding of our ancestors. I and I are in one with them in the same prayer that they pray. I and I is one with I and I ancestor. For there is I and I hope of light. I and I is one with I and I ancient. For I and I is the rule of right. So we are here to strengthen the movement shoulder to shoulder, ranks to ranks. We got to face the enemy with fearless eyes. And do not think with vain surprise. Nothing can surprise me no more. I must always position properly, stand firm in the presence of the enemy. So we give thanks for the day and our listening ears through the power of the King of Kings. And we know that whatsoever the day devise, life shall call I, and I shall trod. We maintain that peace and love must abide. We give thanks. Being Junior, being Carver, Spooky. Give thanks to Jaboni, Rootsman, and Empress Yalov, Empress Aikiba, Empress Queen of Sheba, Mama Ethiopia, Mama Isaac. Give thanks to Rascal Benati, Bongo Cliffy, and Perfect Love all the time. And we always said salute to Your Excellency Markiba. Give thanks, self-educated, one love. And we say Rasta on the beach, Aska Black, at Can X. Yeah. It's a bless up yourself, said we. The way of the banner eye, So that's the one way of the banner eye. You kill the army. All firm. We give thanks to the daughter, sister there, and Mama Elda Askeli. Yeah. And give thanks to the daughter Abigail. And Purpose Love, and the brethren in New York, the Rasta Jeremiah. And that's Iron and all them give thanks again, even brethren down in South Africa, the Ras Island is one perfect love all the time. Give thanks out of Tanzania, the Rascal Benati, El Kima, bless up yourself, And then we give thanks to Ras Chukai, we will come and give report and things with a strength, and always a strength unto strength. We want to see the Asian Council intact and running, and we give thanks to the sister that were there as a guidance, Dr. Tishingi from Jamaica there. We give thanks, and we do the brethren overseas, the Ras Samoki, Ras Makapi, Ras Icleve. You remember the brethren them, the brethren from Trinidad, the young priest man there. Give thanks again. And shout out to the brethren them Guyana. Being the Raja. Yeah. And we give thanks to them. I'll create them where I see Bongo Junior share. He pick up a lot of memory, And I give thanks to still have a piece of the archive left, even though Satan try to upstore, But we give thanks everywhere. Babylon can't win this judgment. We are kicking on this Armageddon right now, Serious judgment, The eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, So that's how people are going to with a turn of lamb to the slaughter no more. So I said, Congo Jalisha, Billy Elijah, and Ras Abuna Bandamali in Zimbabwe. We say love again and peace every time. And there is a funny post about some report was going on. Report from Ethiopia with the borders closed and military action, no food supply, and it's a real terrible news, you know. I would have liked to ask the sister, your love, to post it, you know, if this is really a natural story or someone just write that. Most time we see these type of news come out, these type of news could be fake, you know. So we bless up Barbados again, you know. Sister Ijalila, one love, you know. Yeah, and we have an elder from the EWF over the years, and he remarked some questions, you know. Honorable Ronald Pennycook. Yeah, he asked Sayana about Solomon Wolf. You know, but as youth man growing up, our experience with Solomon Wolf would be like the bigger brethren, you know. I will know about Solomon Wolf that he was a very humble brethren, you know, calm, and in words them very humble, and you know, and he was a fair brethren. He was the first brethren I man go and get big earth fathers and to young youth man, you know. That's why we know about Solomon Wolf. He wasn't a man of pushy, even though he did have documents very important to the Rasta movement. I grew up and see one try organize a bun feather, you know. And not one bun the brethren, you know, because of the jealousy. The brethren went to Ethiopia and his majesty gave the paper, and some man they claim to say his majesty send them to preach Rasta and teach Rasta. They never get the opportunity to get no paper. So for that reason they never like the brethren, Solomon. So then try to tell the youth and say when I'm wrong and shed a light. And, you know, it's now in the long run now realize the man did have the important document concerning the land of Shashamane where everyone should have worked on and developed, and from that time that I and I, you know, could have come and build on that portion, you know. So Ella, you know, Honorable Ronald Pennycook, that's what's going on, you know, with the Ancient, you know. I feel that the Ancient rising the power of His Majesty said we, you know, Brother Salah. Yeah. So it's a whole part of history around these elders. We as the youth, then we can talk about the mystery of the elders. Yeah. You have a man where they live near Bongo Salah, where imitate Salah name and call himself Salah too, but he was a thief. And him and two other Rasta man join up together and start to thief people with the country and come back to Kingston and sell it. So it happened that man they call himself Salah, we live near to Salah, Bongo, Solomon Wolf. Him have a van where him drive the two other man go thief the weed, the ganja country, and come back to Kingston. So the person who then go and thief the weed from, him come out in the community and put out a prophecy. So the Rasta man, him say, one of the man, the three person we can thief him weed. One of the man going to turn into monkey. one of the man going to lose him eye. And the man will drive the van. Anywhere the van park, the van can't move again. And this is a real story. This is not something where I man make up. And the first thing happened to one of the three man that got thief the weed. One police come and arrest a man in the community. And one of the man who thief the weed run out time yard and tell the police to leave the man alone. The police use a rifle and jam him in the face, take out his eyeball. And the eyeball look inside of the rifle mouth and see the eyeball block the mouth and the police shake it. And the eyeball flash out. And the whole community look for the eyeball from now till tomorrow. They never find the eyeball. Nobody never find by the eyeball. I go missing. You lose it. The van, the man will drive the van to thief the people weed. The same place where the van park. The van can't move from there, so the van can't drive from there, so we grew up as a local man and see the van painting a red, gold and green all the time. And the van, just at Christmas time, we shove the van, come out of the gate and have it in front of the yard and then shove it go back inside of the yard. But the van never drive again. It was an Aston Martin van. The other man now, which is a Rasta man near Irate, him have a woman named Pinky, and him just beat up the woman all the time. And the woman, one night him beat up the woman, and the woman get a pan of acid, black acid. And when he must sleep, the woman pour it on his face. And the skin off his face melt, and it stick on him throat. And doctor can't move it. So they have to cut skin from other places try to fix back in face. Half of face melt, literally melt, like a plastic. It's a nose, half of nose gone, in lip, half of lip, both in back. Yeah, both half of lip them gone, both the bottom lip and top lip. So half of face melt. So when they spend months in a surgery and come out, Irate look worse than a monkey. Then when him laugh, when him lock him out, you can see him teeth them. All him teeth them said there when he lock him out. Then when him walk me him out now, when he walk me him out, you may laugh and him start to laugh and you start to laugh. So every day people just gather around him and just get jokes and just laugh, but you know how him look. So this is how them Asian they trad. You know, you can't play with these Asian and people say you get to it. Yeah, you come and you hear a man named Bongo Tani and he might live a certain way and you come and your name you say Bongo Tani too and you start doing some other things that Bongo Tani never do. You dishonor the name. When you try to do that now, you know, that's when you see certain cosmic play out. Yeah. So Bongo Salah was that man and him just sit down and him smoking weed and him selling weed. You know, and years after, a year when I become big man, the man reach Africa. When I was a little youth man, the man was an old man with a white beard, yellow hair. When I was a young youth man. So after I get big now and try up with my 30s now, I hear say that he tried to Ethiopia. So I say he's really a strong man. Salaman was a strong man. Yeah, real strong man. You know. So these are the things that marvel me about some of the elders, you know. This is where we look upon as youth, how them survive, how them live as a Rasta, how them survive as a Rasta. These are the things that make build we as youth, So give thanks again, bless everyone. And I hope, that, sometimes hard work and no play make Jack a dull boy. You got to have a time to tell a story. And since the elder, asks, when we know about Solomon,
Once again, speaking to Senegal on the platform, but for all the families here still. But this is what Senegal. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to get a full under and understanding of. If what I'm trying to get a full understanding of is that, somehow during the line, during the process of a black man and woman learning themselves, learning that, learning how to eat, learning how to protect their health, learning how to use different herbs. My thing is what I'm saying as far as black people who are under the same oppression, under the same yoke of colonialism up until this day, how and when did we as black people learning, how to eat better, learning they're saying, if we eat that right there, that's going to do that to us. How did that whole thing change from when how did it change to the point to now where the majority, where the thing that's concentrated on right now, we all know we have to eat good to live a long, healthy, and prosperous life. We know these things. We all know, how did the thing turn to that instead of just being about black people all around the world being oppressed by this? How did it turn to the point where where we forgot that the same minority of fucking white people are ruining and destroying most of our lives, uprooting our lives and making life difficult and making life horrible for people who look like us? How did that change from that to all? How did that? You know what I'm saying? How did that change from that to now we go and we help these white countries legalize marijuana? We help. So this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. Black people from a poor country, from a poor island in the Caribbean, was the catalyst and the spokesperson and and a loudspeaker for the white freedom. And I don't see how nobody don't understand it that way. How are the biggest proponents of white people freedom is black people? The things that Rastafari started from a black power movement, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, but I'm saying from my understanding, it started from a black power movement, but then turned into a thing where it's more, up until this day right now, it's now more involved with freeing white people way more than it is in freeing black people like that, because the thing that don't get talked about is right now, even if you have Jamaicans, even if you have Jamaicans even if you got Rasta people from Jamaica going to Africa right now, Rasta people from Jamaica going to Africa, Aita, all these different things, with the reggae music, all that stuff like that, a Rasta Jamaican and a Rasta who, or African in Ghana and Nigeria and South Africa calling themselves an African. If a fucking white man was to come amongst either one of them groups, whether the African one or the Jamaican one, he would be way more accepted into that thing way before a black American would. This is the thing. This is the thing that gets skipped over. I mean, this is the thing that gets skipped over out of the things. Because the thing is that this stuff changed from a black power struggle movement into a thing of health consciousness and vegetarianism and organic eating food. All it turned to that. But at the same time that anybody, a slave owner, could be a fucking vegetarian, is what I'm saying. The children of slaves can be vegetarians and eat organic and all that stuff like that. I mean, and the people who are the most powerful people, the people who are saying that they're the most powerful movement and the most powerful black movement of, don't seem to understand that you are more closer to people like that than you are to the regular black people. To the regular, on the ground, regular black people, like in your family, like your aunties and uncles and aunts and cousins, right? You and the ones, you know what I'm saying? This is why it's so weird. The blackest people, the rosters of some families and some of the people who are the most pro-black eliminated their family, left their family alone, and then at the end of the day got more semblance and more things in common with white people and other people besides black people than they do with their own family. And taking pride in this whole crazy ass shit about if God say leave your mother alone and God say leave your family alone and you come on and nobody never seen no fucking God. If you gotta leave your mother and father alone and you gotta leave your family alone, your brothers and sisters, if you gotta leave all them people behind to follow this thing called God, how is this thing called God so kind of a good thing? And nobody's seen this thing called God. Nobody up until this day seen this thing called God. Up until this day, never. I mean, because somehow we're so caught up in emotions and all these different things like this. And nobody, some people, I mean, I'm going to say nobody, because I took the time out and had to ask this stuff myself. Like, the things that black people believe in, the things that we follow, and all this stuff like this is like, when did any God, when did any Jesus, any God, any King of Kings, when did any of those things come down or come around or come out of the sky or come from out of the ground, over the sea? When did any of those things happen? That any of these King of Kings, these gods and Jesuses and all these, when did any of those things or beings ever come and say, well, oh, stop doing this to people, stop putting people in slavery, stop making people work to fucking live for a living, stop making people have to slave and work for a living? When did any of these so-called superpower beings ever come and stop the slavery stuff that we knew that was happening. The things that we everything about some kind of thing that we may call God in our mind, we have to make a story up in our mind to make the thoughts in our mind match the reality in front of our face. That's reality. Haile Selassie, Rastafari, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, none of them people stopped slavery. I'm not no better than my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather. I ain't no better than none of them. Ain't none of them people I mentioned. Ain't none of them people stopped slavery for them. Ain't none of them people stopped them people, my grandfather from getting beat and doing all. Ain't none of that stuff stopped them. You know what I'm saying? It's the same people like me and Krumba, my Penzi, the same things that fighting against the same fucking thing without no description, without no title. It's the same type of rebellion. It's the same type of black, same shit. I've been fighting this thing the whole goddamn time. That's why I'm still here. That's why so ain't no gods stop no fucking slavery. Ain't no God stop no black suffering up until this day. Ain't no roster, ain't no creator, ain't nothing, none of this stuff stopped. Nothing is not over. Technology moves. It's all that happened. And it ain't shit changed. Nothing has fucking changed. It's the same phone you had years ago. It's the same phone. But it's a new way of doing it. It's the same way when it comes to. So I don't take my eyes off of that because I know that in reality, ain't no fucking God come out of no fucking sky to end no fucking slavery. Ain't no God come out of the sky to end no world war. Ain't no God come out of the sky from stopping these motherfucking white motherfuckers from dropping a nuclear bomb on Japan. Ain't no God. None of that stuff like that. Then the God that people make up had to run to other. Ain't no God stop people from attacking Ethiopia. Or none of that stuff like that. No God stop none of that stuff. Ain't no God stop none of that. If people on a planet don't realize that you are the majority, and if you keep on letting motherfucking the minority on the planet make all these different roads up that you have to travel down and go through and do all this different stuff before you understand that you are part of the fucking majority of other people who are not the minority that's running the planet. That's all it boils down to. That's all it boils down to. And it don't come down to no one person, because that's not reality. That's not reality. Presidents and kings and all that shit right there. Because I'm saying, like most of us right now, so where most of us right now, all of them, because I'm saying, the thing is that most people don't want to deal with the fact that we only coping with colonialism. We only coping. These are the things that we do in the majority of our lives are just coping. These are things that we learn to cope with our everyday reality. That's all it is. That's all it is. The tools and all things that we use to cope with everyday reality. We have to be reminded of the fact that ain't no God took no black people out of slavery. Ain't no God did that. You know what I'm saying? Rebellion of the people who were in that situation took themselves out of them things like that. When did God end slavery? That's what I'm saying. When did God come to Jamaica or America or any place in the Africa. When this thing called God came and said that today slavery gonna end and today when the fuck did that ever happen? When did that ever happen? And then you make up this thing called God, and this thing called God gotta come amongst other people and still play this fucking same game that human beings been playing about the thing called God. So the fucking thing that's called God can't even say I'm God and I'm this. I'm coming to fucking say, no, I'm coming to put things in order. No, none of that stuff happened. You take your mind and say, well, this thing that we made up in our mind called God, when he said this means that. So this thing, and people actually want to live on this thing. So thinking like 10,000 years from now or 20,000 years from now, you're going to be actually living off this shit like this. And then, yeah, the thing is that you individually, you don't get sealed up in no history like that. All these individual people who believe in some of these stuff and some of these things don't understand. The people who already have their history cemented in stone already, you won't be a part of that stuff like that. You're going to be a part of the dust of time. Nobody's going to remember your name and that stuff like that. So I'm saying this stuff is. Man, nobody. Yeah, So, I mean, what I'm saying, it's not taking a step back. Sometimes you have to take a step up. You have to fly up and get a view of the whole thing. And this whole circle and see where you want to start in the circle. Where you want to start in. We can't build a life. You can't build a life. You can't build a foundation. You can't build a foundation off of fucking slavery and misery and hurtful. Nah, that's how. Ain't no animals been through slavery. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no animals and ain't no trees, but none of that stuff been through no slavery. None of that stuff been through none of that stuff like that. So you can't make them think that some kind of, ain't no animal praising no king of kings. Ain't no tree praising none of that stuff like that. These are things that we use for being people who have been fucked up, people who have been fucked over and fucked up. We use those things as ladders and stepping stones to get us out of a mental situation and a physical. That's the stuff that we use. We have to understand that at a certain point in our life, those are only tools. You don't become the tools. You can't become the tools. That's what I'm saying. You can't become the tools. When you're dealing with a spirit and when you're dealing just with Nyabinghi, when you're dealing with things like that, just simple stuff like that, how long? This is what I'm saying. These are the things that holding the meds and getting a deeper understanding of how long, when I'm saying in your history, when in the near future, when are we I'm saying when are black people, when are Rastafari, when are Nyabinghi, when are we going to be able to lay our arms down? When are we going to be able to lay arms down? And then after we lay arms down and there's no more war, what would our life consist of? What what will our foundation be built after that? When the war is over, then what? Because we got to this point and still made it up as we go along. So now we found God Almighty. Now we found the Creator. We found these things. So now what? But these are the things that nobody talk about. So now we actually said to ourselves, we found God. You know what I'm saying? On this lonely island, somebody out of all the people on the planet, but never, yeah, we found God. Now we found the Creator. Now we know who make trees, and we know who make all these. You know, we know that this thing God now. Now what? Now what? We just go back and regurgitate old speeches and sermons and make what we want to make out of this thing and say, oh, do if the king said this, that must mean that. If the king said this, that means that. Then we read a Bible quote and say, oh, that must mean that was King Selassie saying that. I mean, how none of this stuff get asked? I mean, how none of this stuff get asked or none of this stuff get talked about? If somebody say Jah and somebody got to scream out Rastafari, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? How? You know what I'm saying? Right now, because I mean, listen, I am your brother, like the people who read the Bible, the people who on this platform read the Bible understand. I'm your brother, John, in tribulations. I'm like, yeah, I want some understanding. I want some understanding. I want to understand, because I'm saying, I'm in conflict with myself, because I know I'm a black person. I know I'm a black American. I know I'm in the same struggle as every other black people on this planet. I want to know why or how, what part of this blackness that I'm missing. What I mean, tell me, fill me in. What's the secret? So saying these things and giving thanks and praise and all this stuff like this, I'm saying I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm not trying to be no rebel. I ain't trying to go against, because I love black people. You know what I'm saying? I love black people. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? When I meet black people in the street every single day, I don't know what the fuck you believe in. I don't know what the fuck you do. You know what I'm saying? My intentions towards you is love. I don't have no intention to rob no black person. I don't have no intentions to rape no black woman. So when I see black people in my everyday reality, it's love. So, yeah, me talking and saying what I'm saying, I would never hurt nobody to say that. My thing is that me speaking, that's what talking and communication is for. I can speak what I'm saying to anybody right now. I don't have no hatred towards you. I don't need you to believe what I believe to make my life feel. I will never hurt nobody to make them believe or understand it. No, that's not where I'm coming from. Anywhere I'm coming from, I'm trying to come from a place where I want stuff to make regular basic sense. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing that made sense before 3,000 years ago, it's the same stuff that makes sense today. A seed that go on the ground, if you get water, if you get enough heat and you get enough darkness, it's going to grow a tree or grow a plant. It's the same stuff. Nothing changed about that. It ain't no secrecy to it. Ain't no philosophy to it. That's the same stuff. And I'm trying to get an understanding of the same thing myself. Intelligence is that know I'm talking a long time, but I'm saying I don't even get how. I don't get saying these different words and yeah, man. Giving thanks and praise and all. I mean, all those things like that. There comes a point in time when some of that stuff gotta make sense. Some of that stuff has to make sense. Because I'm saying what's happening, because it's turning into a thing. So it's like, is the reason why our great grandparents and people like who came before us, the reason why they went through the things they went through is because they wasn't saying stuff like that, because they wasn't saying give thanks and praise to Rastafari. I mean, that's why they went through the things they went through. And now that the people up to date found this thing they call Rastafari, I mean, so those things don't have to be questioned no more. I mean, I'm all over the place, but I'm at the same place at the same time, because some of this stuff, some of the stuff doesn't make sense. But the things that keeps, because some of this stuff is people floating in outer space. People floating in outer space. But the thing that lands all of us on the ground is black. If your mind is in outer space, you all over it. But I'm saying when you on the ground, when you on terra firma, you know what I'm saying? When you on the ground, you know you a black person on the ground. Okay, so in your mind, on the ground level, you know you the same nigga, you the same black person. You're the same black person. The same black person. Sometimes you gotta pull that baby picture out. When you that same black person in that picture when you was 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years old. You that same black person. Anybody know saint now? Anybody know prophet now? Anybody know priest now? All of you the same black little baby that you were. You that same black person. And that's what I think that a lot of us drifted away from and forgot about. Because a lot of us more quicker to defend a fucking imagination thing we call God, ready to defend that and love that more than you love the fucking person that you see right in front of your face, or the person that you hear, or the words that you might not like. God never said nothing to you. God never told you no bad words or no good words. You never heard no God voice yet. You choose to love these things. Yeah, and some people love this thing love this imaginary fucking character they made up in their mind. They love this feeling that they call God. But the motherfucker who can ask them and talk to them and ask how you doing today, how you feel today, we'll tell them good morning, none of that stuff count. But the thing they made up in their mind called God is way more deserving of respect and more, because that thing got feelings. And, you know what I'm saying? The person you hear and talk don't have feelings. That thing that they made up in their mind got more feelings than the person that, the brother, the person with 2 eyes and who can look at you and, they give that stuff more feelings. That stuff get more love than you. I'm ranting tonight. I'm ranting and I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? I'm ranting and I'm talking with the family. And I ain't ranting on no fucking Facebook. And this is a Pan-African platform. So this is all amongst family. So, I mean, excuse me. And understand me at the same time. None of them has seen no fucking God, and none of us met no God, and none of that stuff like that. This is the only time we ever going to live on this planet. Because sometimes I'm saying, when I look at my sons and things like that, it don't make no. How the fuck that? How the fuck that? If we are the ones who've been suffering the fucking most, how are we the ones who got to still make some sacrifice and all that stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? It don't make no. A man got. I mean, man. A Rasta man got to be the misfit of society just to fit into society. Like a black man got to go through all that stuff like that just to fit in to society. So I mean, even though it's a personal journey, I understand all that also. But I'm saying, why a black man got to go through all that shit like that just to be who he is? A black man, right? Not comb your, all that stuff like that. Not comb your hair. Let's get all that. Got to be this whole different fucking kind of human being from the rest of the people on the planet just to show that you are. And but then at the same time, the black man who did do that, the black man who said fuck, who is a whole different person who look totally different from other people in the world. Go around the world and free up other people who didn't do none of that stuff like that. The Rasta dread man, the Jamaican Rasta man who took the vow, I mean, who grew locks and ate item and did all these different things like that. A man who could come along, and not only that, not even be black. The man who, I'm saying, who didn't do this, and the man who preserved himself in the world, and so that man gave everything they learned to the other people for nothing. Somehow thinking that the people who learned these things from these people who abstained themselves from the world and things like that, I can't explain it, but people who know.
Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. In ancient Egypt, black was considered a divine color, often associated with gods and deities. Some might wonder why this was the case, thinking it could be because many ancient Egyptians had dark skin, thus imagining their gods in their likeness. However, it's important to note that not all Egyptians had the same skin tone. In Egypt, there were a variety of skin colors, ranging from very dark to light-skinned, and even albino individuals. This diversity is similar to what can be seen across different African countries. The specific association of the color black with divinity, however, is more deeply connected to the sun and its significance in Egyptian culture, rather than just the skin color of the people. In many African cultures, as highlighted in discussions about African religion, God is seen as an unseen consciousness that created the world with a powerful initial energy. The sun, as the primary source of energy and life, can be thought of as a representation of God on earth, a kind of divine messenger. Where am I going with this? We will get to the answer shortly. This perspective is reflected in various African cultures. For instance, Pharaoh Akhenaten of ancient Egypt made offerings to the sun, seen as God's messenger, bringing life with its rays. The reverence for the sun extends beyond Egypt. The Hausa refer to God as Rana, while the Fulani worship the sun under the name of Budal Yurmende, viewed as a great solar disk of mercy. In Cameroon, the Bassa people invoke God through the sun, known as Job. The Bakongo refer to God as Nembumbaloa, the great solar creator. This artwork, currently housed at the New Orleans Museum of Art, represents a significant cultural artifact from the ancient Ashanti Empire, which is located in what is now modern-day Ghana. The piece embodies the profound reverence for the sun that was prevalent in many African civilizations, including the Ashanti. In these cultures, the sun was often seen as a divine messenger, a tangible representation of God's energy and presence in the world. These diverse practices and beliefs across Africa highlight the sun's central role as a symbol of divine energy and a messenger of God. Science tells us that black people have their skin color because of melanin, a pigment that helps adapt to the African sun. This concept of black skin as a mark of the sun has been known since ancient times. In ancient Egyptian language, words like kam or kem, charcoal or black, and kemet or kamit or kama, the black country referring to Egypt, reflect this understanding. This idea is also present in modern African languages, where words like kim, kembu, cum, and kama mean coal, burnt, or black. This African term kam evolved into cham or ham in Hebrew and the Bible, symbolizing black people. Pharaoh Akhenaten, in his hymn to Aten, the sun, expressed this idea beautifully. He saw the sun's rays as a divine mark on humanity, equating black skin with this celestial influence. Even the Greek historian Herodotus, during his visit to Egypt, noted that the heat makes men black, indicating an early recognition of this relationship between skin color and sun exposure. In ancient animist thought, the darker one's skin, the closer they were considered to the sun, and thus more divine and blessed. This is why gods and deities were often depicted in the darkest black color, symbolizing their divine nature. This view highlights the deep cultural and spiritual significance of skin color in ancient civilizations, particularly in relation to the sun and divinity. In ancient Egyptian mythology, Osiris, often revered as a son of God, is a symbol of goodness and moral integrity. Known for his just and benevolent rule, Osiris holds a significant place in Egyptian lore. Additionally, he was referred to as Kem-Aur, which translates to the Great Black. This title not only reflects his importance and stature, but also connects him to the theme of blackness as a symbol of divinity and virtue in ancient Egyptian culture. In this illustration, Queen Amis Nefertari, known for her distinctly dark skin from birth. This natural trait was seen as a divine sign, marking her as a special figure. She stands as the matriarch and co-founder of the highly esteemed 18th dynasty, earning a reputation as one of the most revered queens in ancient history, her great-great-grandson, Pharaoh Tutankhamun. In this depiction, he is shown with dark skin, a portrayal reserved for after his death. This change in his representation is a symbol of his transformation into a divine ancestor, serving as a bridge between God and humans. This practice highlights the ancient belief in the sanctity and divine nature of blackness, especially in the context of royalty and the afterlife. Around 2,600 years ago, the Egyptians introduced the worship of the Virgin Mother, Aissata Mariamen, known in other traditions as Isis, to West Asia and Europe. This figure, often depicted in black, symbolized a divine mother and was revered alongside her son. This form of worship, focusing on a black Madonna and her child, became a significant religious practice in Europe for many centuries. According to some interpretations, the Romans later adopted and transformed this cult into what would eventually become Christianity in the 4th century. Aissata Maria Amen, or Isis, was revered as a beloved figure of the god Amen. She was also known as Setkem, meaning the black woman. She is often depicted holding her son Horus, believed to be born of an immaculate conception, and seen as a divine savior. This narrative suggests that the figure of Mari, or Mary in Christian tradition, may have evolved from earlier Egyptian worship practices, influenced by Roman interpretations. Statues of Isis in Europe, characterized by their dark color, are seen as remnants of this once dominant cult, preceding the rise of Christianity. We have covered this topic regarding the Black Madonna in a recent video. For many ancient cultures, the color black was seen as a blessed and revered hue, rather than a cursed one. This perspective is particularly significant when considering the historical and cultural context of dark-skinned Africans. It's important to emphasize self-love and acceptance for all skin tones, without diminishing the value of lighter-skinned individuals. Dark-skinned Africans, in particular, are encouraged to embrace their natural skin color with pride and love. This message is a reminder to resist societal pressures that may associate lighter skin with beauty or goodness. Self-acceptance and celebrating the beauty and diversity are key themes, advocating for a deeper understanding and appreciation of one's heritage and natural appearance. A special thank you to our channel members, Nubian Storytellers, Siddiq Ibrahim.
This is Ambassador Arikana Chihombori Kwao. Just wanted to let everyone know that I am going to be attending the Ubuntu Awakening Summit, which is going to be taking place from February 5th to February 10th in Kingston, Jamaica. I am so looking forward to seeing all of you as we come together to discuss how we, the children of Africa, can come together and finish the unfinished business that our very own Marcus Garvey started years ago. The unfinished business must be finished. And it takes us creating that unity of purpose to finish what our Pan-African fathers started. The ship that Marcus Garvey wanted built to transport Africa's children back home, we have a responsibility to complete the building of that transatlantic vessel. Now, we may not have to run around in that ship going back, but we can use the ship for trade. We do need an airline, because now we can fly. An airline transporting us back home to Africa, between the Caribbean and Africa, is a must. I'm highlighting these particular issues because the summit that we are going to be coming together is about economic development. It's about economic liberation. It's about that which we must do to finally claim our place on the world stage. It's going to be an exciting weekend, an exciting week. I encourage all of you to join me as we come together from all corners of the globe to chart a way forward, to remind each other that to a great extent, we're suffering from the legacy of slavery and colonization, but that the awakening is happening now, that we all must have a conversation with the image in the mirror and answer this basic question: am I colonized? Am I suffering from the legacy of slavery? For we need healing if we are to finish the unfinished business that Marcus Garvey and many other ancestors that came before us started. We have a responsibility, not only in honor of them, but also a responsibility to our children, grandchildren, and generations to come. See you in Kingston, Jamaica. It's going to be an amazing 5 days. I hope you'll find time to be there.